So I have not done a video since August of 2024, and this is the end of February of 2025. It's not that I haven't wanted to do a video of a memory or anything going on. I've just been busy and focusing my attention and energy to other things for the upcoming reunion in July, and just been concentrating on that and just not having any time. Really, I guess I could have taken out the time to do it, but I haven't. So, and I'm in a different car, I want to point it out, because on Friday I was involved in a hit and run accident. Obviously not my fault. It was the other people's fault. They switched drivers, and they took off, and they did not have plates on their car. And my car's in the shop, and so I had to rent a car. It's a small SUV, not mine, of course. The whole entire thing didn't happen, but it did. And hopefully they'll fix my car quickly so I can get my SUV back. So anyway, this memory takes place in 1986, about, I think August of 1986, actually. Me and Tony had, this is our second motel in San Ysidro as managers. And since Tony and I became managers for Motel 6, the May of 1986, or the end of April of 1986, we had gained a lot of weight. I mean, and I was always used to being thin. Tony was heavy at one time, lost weight, and was maintaining his weight before Motel 6, and then him and I gained a lot of weight. Working a lot of hours, irregular sleep on my part, and just eating and whatever. And what started that trip was July, when I started seeing my adopted mother, who was Aunt Maria at the time, and Uncle Bud at the motel. We just went kind of wild about eating stuff that we normally wouldn't eat. Quesadillas, fried food, taquitos, homemade taquitos that we were taught by my mother how to make, chili rellenos, ice cream, just whatever. Oh yeah, and dump cake. And so we put on a lot of weight. I went from weighing, I think 122, 120 when I got married the previous year. And I gained like 25 pounds. Tony gained probably around 35 pounds in only a couple of months. So we had decided to go on this diet. So we joined this gym, which didn't really work out well because we didn't have a lot of time to go there. And when you went there, we were gone for like 3 hours, 4 hours from the motel. And so we end up not continuing going to the gym. At the time, it was called Family Fitness, and now I think it's called LA Fitness. Throughout time, it was sold. And cost a lot of money, too. And so we decided to go on this crash diet. Well, the crash diet entailed on Slim Fast, and Slim Fast in the 1980s was extremely popular. It was like the wonder drink to lose weight, if you followed the instructions correctly. Well, the crash diet of Slim Fast was this: 3 shakes, so breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Slim Fast shake. And then if you were still hungry, you could have a 4th. So that's all we did. Is we first started out with having 1 for breakfast, and then we had like a light lunch, and then we had like a salad or something like that for supper. And the pounds weren't coming off really quick, and we both wanted to drop weight quickly. So we upped the Slim Fast to 2 a day and then had a salad. And then we went full throttle and did 3 Slim Fast shakes, maybe a 4th one, and that was it for about a week. Well, Tony, and I didn't know this then, men drop weight quicker than a woman. And Tony lost like 12 pounds in a week. And we were still going to the gym, actually, at that time, I think. And I lost like, I don't know, 2 or 3. And I was really discouraged because I went from a size petite 8, because I was really thin, to a size 18, 20. So I think gaining, I was up to, at 20 years old, I weighed something like between 150, 160 pounds. And I flipped out. So that's why we decided to do the Slim Fast Crash Course Diet. And so Tony losing 12 pounds, he was good. But he continued to maintain losing the weight, and I wasn't. And so I decided to really just stop eating, and just have the Slim Fast shake, and I'd walk around the property after we dropped going to the gym, because that wasn't working out, and being gone from the motel, and at night we would go, and I was just too tired. So was Tony. And so Mother comes to the motel, her and Uncle Bud. And this is one of the times they were there a prolonged period of time because the RV was being worked on. So she decided she was going to teach me this lesson. I didn't know that at the time, but she was teaching me a lesson on how to properly eat right. So she would cook supper. And, well, let me back up before the supper. She would make my Slim Fast. We had the different flavors. They only had 3 flavors at the time: vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate. So we had all 3 flavors. So in the morning, she made me my Slim Fast shake, and we had, and I still have it too, an old malt maker. I think it still works, actually. I'm gonna have to dig it out and use it. And anyway, so she would make me my breakfast, which was the Slim Fast shake. She would make me like vanilla for the morning, because she wasn't going to give me the chocolate one, because that was more of a dessert. So she makes me the vanilla shake, and she'd call me, and breakfast is ready. Put that shake glass on the table with the straw. And I'd sit there and I'd drink my shake and have my water. And I was allowed to have iced tea. No sugar. And then she'd shoo me out of the apartment and tell me to go do my duties as a manager. And I'd go do my inspections, inventory, whatever it is that I would be doing. And come back in for lunch. I would have the strawberry. She'd have my lunch. Strawberry. Tony, he got regular lunch. Me, I got this strawberry shake. She'd have her lunch too with us. Supper time came around. And this thing with the shake went on for a couple of days. But supper time, she made whatever supper, like pork chops, applesauce, blueberry muffins, green beans, I believe, some type of potato. All of Tony's favorites. So I was in there and I was like, Aunt Marie, what are you making for supper? And I was looking. She goes, oh, I go, it smells wonderful. She goes, oh, it's going to be great. And so she's painting up this marvelous supper that she's cooking. And she made dump cake. And I love dump cake. It always tasted better with her making it. But anyway. And saying, oh, go out. You know, you have job to do, but I was already done with my outside stuff, and so I'd go inside the office, see if the desk clerks, they changing shifts. I had it overlapping like an hour, so they could settle in and do their count out and book work and stuff like that. Make sure that the nighttime auditor needed, desk clerk auditor, he did my books for me, and when he had time, because he went to school too, and he would do his homework and sleep. But I didn't care as long as you do your work. And so make sure that he was all taken care of and whatnot. And she'd tell me, you know, go relax, go take off your dress, because I always had to dress up, either a dress, skirt, or pantsuit when I was outside or working in the office. And so she told me, this is before I would take a shower, go take off those clothes, put on something more comfortable, and clean up for supper. So here I'm thinking that she forgot about the shake. So I was going to get food. Well, she made me my shake. Had it on the table. Even had a plate, silverware. Everybody had plates and silverware on their glasses, except I had my shake. She made my shake. She had it, stuck it in the freezer so it stayed nice and cold. Gave me my shake, had my water, whatever. Then she started serving the plates, and then she grabbed mine last. My plate consisted on a carrot and a piece of celery. Raw carrot, raw celery. I'm like, couldn't even cook the carrot? Just one. One of each. That was it. They're sitting there. I'm just like looking. They're at the table, getting everything ready, and she sat near Tony because I sat across from her, and she sat on that side so she could get up and down easily. And I'm just like looking at him, and she had this already pre-planned on what she was going to do. And Tony, how's your pork chop? Oh, it's good, you know. Applesauce, and I go to reach for the applesauce. Oh no, darling, you can't have that. You're on a diet, remember? Took the applesauce from me, so I didn't get any. And they're like, oh, and she goes to Uncle Bud. Bud, how's your pork chop? And you know, whatever else she had on the plate. Oh, he's like, oh, it's good. This is the best you've done. Oh, and he looks over at me and he goes, don't you wish that you weren't on a diet and needed to lose all that weight? He goes, you're really missing out. I mean, they like painted up, and I'm not a fan of pork chops to begin with, but buddy, she was just like, all of them, painting this up, how marvelous this is, how I was missing out. And I was like, so I just sat there and I'm like, yeah, my piece of celery tastes so good. And I'm just like taking little bites out of it because she just gave me one, probably the thinnest one actually, and a carrot. At least she grated it. And so I'm sitting there and I'm eating my celery and carrot and sipping on my Slim Fast. I'm like, oh, this is the best. Oh, it tastes so good. It tastes like a pork chop. Little chuckles come from there, and Tony's like, yeah, this is good. Blueberry muffins, spreading that butter, and I love blueberry muffins. So I'm sitting there. So I was done with my celery and carrot and Slim Fast before they were done with theirs, because they were enjoying their meal. Oh Tony, you want another pork chop? So Tony had a couple pork chops. Uncle Bud had a couple pork chops. Mama only had one. So I'm like, may I please be excused? No, you may not. You can wait until everybody else is finished eating. So I had to sit there watching them eat this marvelous meal that she cooks. Just la 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 la. Wasn't allowed to get up. So they finish with their meal, get up from the table. I said, may I please get up from the table? Yes, you may, and you can get those dishes ready. So I had to wash the dishes. She'd help. I would, if she cooked, I washed, which she cooked most of the time. Practically, I would say every single time she was there, she cooked, I washed, and then she would rinse and dry and put the dishes away. So she helped me most of the time. And so after the dishes were done, she told me to go get cleaned up and get ready for bed, take my shower, put my pajamas on, and if she wanted my hair washed or not, tell me to wash my hair or not, and bring her my hairbrush or comb, whichever, if I washed my hair. Got me ready for bed. Well, since you're on that diet, you need plenty of rest. So my bedtime, I always indicate that when she was there, it was at 7 o'clock. Sometimes, or she'd start putting me to bed at 7 o'clock. I'd have to say goodnight to Tony and Uncle Bud. Because I did stay up a long time and get up early and do book work and all that kind of whatever stuff. She wanted to make sure that I got my sleep. Because in her mind, I was a kid. Very young child. And so because I goof around so much, so I'd say goodnight to them, and she'd get me into bed, have me say my prayers, talk to me for a little bit, and then tell me to go to sleep. So actually it took about an hour for me, from 7 to 8 o'clock, for me to say goodnight, go to the room. She turned the sheets down for me, get me into bed, put the covers up to me like this, tuck me in, sit on the bed, have me say my prayers, and talk to me for a little bit, and then turn off the light, go to sleep. So that one particular night, this thing with the dinner and the Slim Fast went on for a couple of days. And she had made this one night, the pork chops bothered me a little bit. Not so much because I'm not a pork eater. Still aren't a pork eater. I'll eat it once in a while. She had made me, I think, like chicken cacciatore, and I love chicken cacciatore. In fact, I loved Rose's and Nana's chicken cacciatore. And they're the ones who taught me how to make it. I do not make it. I prefer it to have come from them. But neither one of them are alive anymore, so therefore, I can't have chicken cacciatore unless I really learn how to make it. And so she makes it, and I love it. Did I get any? Nope. She makes this chicken cacciatore dinner. I just remember the chicken cacciatore. I don't remember what she had with it, and makes dump cake. Did I get any of that? Nope. Because I was on this crash diet. So this went on for about 4 days. At the end of that 4th night of her making food that I want to eat, and kept reminding me you're on a diet, you're on a crash diet. One night for supper, she did make me a salad, because salads are good for you, and salads hardly have any calories. And she controlled the dressing that went on it. No creamy dressing. I don't remember what she did. I think it was like a vinegar and oil dressing she put on it. She didn't put that much on either. Just enough to braise it. And back then, I would have liked to have a lot of dressing. Nope. So, and And that's all it had. It was just like lettuce, some tomatoes, and back then I didn't eat tomatoes, but she made me eat tomatoes, onions, whatever she put on it. And whatever that she bought that was in the refrigerator. So, at the end of that fourth night, she's talking to me and she goes, "Now, you learned your lesson?" And I'm like, "Lesson about what?" And she goes, "It is not healthy for you to be on this diet." I go, "Well, that's what the instructions on that jar says." So, on the container of the Slim Fast. I don't know what it says now. And that came in a can back then. And, so we talked for a little bit and I went to bed. The next morning, she sits me down at the breakfast table, the kitchen table, whatever, because it was really small. She gets that Slim Fast out and she hands it to me. She goes, "I want you to read this. The back of these instructions for me." I'm like, "Why, you forgot your glasses or something?" "No, I know what it says." She goes, "I want you to read what it says out loud to me." So I read it to her. And she said, "It indicates 2 Slim Fasts, 1 healthy meal." And she goes, "You show me on the back of here where it says to do a crash diet that you've been doing where you're not eating and all you're doing is drinking this stuff." So I'm looking at in fine print at the bottom in this little square at the time, I don't know what it says now, about if you want to do like a quick whatever to lose weight. And she says, "Here's the regular directions. 2 a day, 1 healthy meal, lean protein, a salad, vegetables, whatever." She goes, "And you're not doing that." And she goes, "How much weight have you lost?" I'm like, "I don't know. I haven't weighed myself," because I was petrified of scales because I have a history of anorexia, which Kaiser actually really should be documenting. I'm going to have to tell my doctor the next time. By the way, y'all need to put anorexia on here because I do have a history of it. So just so you guys know about it. And so I wouldn't get on scale. So anyway, we did have a scale because when Tony and I gained all that weight, he had gotten a scale so we could keep track of our weight. And I wouldn't get on it. So she takes me by the hand, takes me into the bathroom where the scale was at, gets me on that scale. I do not remember what it said. I think I lost maybe at the most 10 pounds. Well, then she explains to me on it's water weight, you're starving yourself, you're doing this totally unhealthy. She was against the Slim Fast to begin with. And that got taken away. And she says, "This is not going to be happening. You're hurting yourself. You have no idea the damage that you're causing your body." So she sat me down and talked to me about weight loss and exercise. And so what I would do at night, after, everybody was gone, I had my nighttime desk clerk in the office, we had security on the property, I'd walk the property downstairs, not upstairs, downstairs, around a few times for maybe, I don't know, she told me something like 20, 30 minutes. So I started doing that, and I started eating, but I started eating proper, and we had junk food in the house, or in the little apartment there, snack stuff, snack cakes, dump cake mixes, and, not dump cake mixes, but stuff to make dump cake. She took it all. She told me she was going to take it all, and when they left that particular time to go back up to Thousand Trails and then to go back up to Winton to check on Grandma and then go to Missouri and do whatever she was and then came back, she took it all of it. Even my Pop-Tarts. And I loved Pop-Tarts. I still love Pop-Tarts, but I don't eat them that much because there is too much sugar in it. she took it all and put me on a strict diet. And she said she'd be back in a couple of weeks and to note my progress. Here's a piece of paper, and I want you to write down what you're eating and what you're drinking. So she made me do, it was my very first, and I don't do them, I have the books, food journal. I just didn't know it was a food journal then. So, they come back, and I had, the paper on the table that had everything listed down on it. I had dropped weight, I don't know how much, but Tony and I did slender down. After, I don't know, I did probably, it took a while. I don't remember when. I think it was, probably it took, I'm going to say a good 6 weeks, but you know, when you're young, you can do anything. And, so to me, it maybe a couple of months. It took a while. I know that. And, I was like, I'm never getting like that again, but I got older and I got thyroid problems and had a total hysterectomy and everything's against me. And I do control what goes into my mouth, and I haven't been making the good choices. But she did help me with that, and I did lose the weight, and I got down, I think, to like 124, because I wanted to weigh close to what I got married at. And I got married at, I weighed 122. Well, according to Mom and, you know, the rest of the Waltman family, I was always way too thin. Nana and Rose and them, I think they always thought I was way too thin too. You don't eat right, you skip meals and stuff like that. But when she was there, and when I was with her in the RV, skipping meals didn't happen because she made me eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And if I wanted a snack, oh no, the snacks had to do with her choices. So this one time, this is after I lost the weight, I believe. I come in and I asked her if I could have a snack. I was hungry, and I had finished my lunch, because she would make my lunch. She'd normally make me like a half a sandwich. She'd eat the other half, and we'd share it, because she knew that I didn't eat a whole lot at one time. And unlike, well, my car shuts off after an hour, and I haven't been out here that long. Anyway. So she had made me like a tuna fish sandwich. So I had half of it. She had the other half. And so I think for breakfast, she made me like 1 scrambled egg and 1 piece of toast, cut diagonal, left the crust on, because she did ask me, do I eat the crust or do I not? I think if I told her, no, I don't eat crust, I'm sure she would have made me eat it anyway. But because she was just like that. Anything I told her I despised, oh, she made me eat it. And that just had to do with, to be grateful for what you have and what's been given to you and what's been put in front of you. That was the lesson with all of that. But so I come in, and I was hoping for one of Uncle Bud's snack cakes, because we would keep stuff there for him. Hostess stuff. We bought the Hostess stuff. No, Uncle Bud liked Little Debbie's. And I told Tony, I said, wonder if it's because of money or something. You know, Uncle Bud just liked the brand Little Debbie's up until the day he died, actually. He liked Little Debbie's snack cakes, specific ones. So we had those and Hostess, and I wanted something sweet, something, you know, snacky. So what does she do? She sits me at the table, goes into the kitchen. I don't know what she's doing. Anyway, she cuts a half an apple and slices it, sticks it on a plate, and sticks it in front of me. I'm looking at that, I'm like going, I want... She goes, no, you asked me for a snack, and that's what you're having. She wouldn't let me eat sugar stuff at all. Very rarely was I allowed to have sugary snacks with her. Ever. Even when she was not in my presence or I was not in her presence, like at home and stuff like that, when I saw her, after we left even Motel 6 and during the years, she'd ask me, what have you been eating? And stuff. And I wasn't even allowed to eat candy. And very rarely was I allowed to have that. And so the only time I really craved like a chocolate bar is when I was going to start my period. And I would buy one, but she wouldn't let me have them. I wasn't allowed. But she knew that I would have one, and she'd ask me, and I wouldn't lie to her because I'd get in trouble if I did, but I would tell her that I had a chocolate bar. How much? What did you have? And I would break out right here up underneath my chin, because of the chocolate. And I don't know if I ever had an allergy against it. It never really bothered me, but she always knew, or I'd break out right here up on top. Every single time I would have a chocolate bar, some type of chocolate bar, right before I started my period. And if I didn't have a chocolate right before I started my period, and that's really the only time I craved it, I wouldn't break out. So she knew. And she'd ask me, and I'd tell her, and she didn't like it. And I'm like, you never let me have it. Well, I think that's for a reason, because one, it's not good for you to begin with. And I said she didn't allow that. Not with me anyway. And soda, wasn't allowed to drink soda. Once in a while, when I was with her, I was allowed to have soda. And soda of my choice back then was Dr. Pepper if I had a soda. Other than that, I wasn't even, like I said, me and Tony were married. Even at my apartment, even when I worked, when I didn't see her, when she was gone, I knew the rules, and they were her rules, and I didn't indulge in that. I would drink water and I would drink iced tea. I didn't drink iced tea with sugar, and if I did, it was very little. My coffee, on the other hand, sugar, cream, but it wasn't really sweet. I never put a lot of sugar in my coffee to begin with. But that's what she did, and that's just how things were. And that went on for numerous years, even after I wasn't allowed to see her anymore. And then it pretty much continued until I couldn't talk to her anymore. And then I just kind of like, went wild. But I have low thyroid, and which is not a good thing, but it causes problems as far as I'm not allowed, I shouldn't eat everything that I want to, which I have been for the last almost 2 years. And so now I got my blood work back, and I'm going to say this only for documentation purposes for later on, so I can look back on it, is my A1C is 6.1 again, and my cholesterol is extremely high at 298. And those two together like that, not a good thing. So now I have to really buckle down, get back on track on a serious basis, and not have any bad carbs, sugar, junk food, the thyroid, the low thyroid, I crave stuff that you shouldn't have. And that's just part of the disease. I don't know if everybody goes through that. I do. I've looked all that information up, and I crave sweets. I crave carbs. Carbs, I crave. And if you deprive your body from that, then, I mean, eventually it'll go away. But it's gonna, go through the process again and purge my body from it. And so now I have to be anal. I've done good so far today. I am tempted to get something, but I'm not gonna. I need my A1C dramatically to drop and get out of the red, because it's a couple points away from being diabetic. And I am not gonna be diabetic, and I am not gonna take diabetic medicine, because once you take it, it screws your body up. Even if you take those sugar pills, and I'm sure in the bloody heck am not taking them damn things either. So I can control it with diet, exercise, but I don't have a whole lot of time for that, because by the time I get home from work and driving around all day, I don't want to do anything like that. So I don't do it. So I can do a little stuff. Today, while working, I've been stretching my legs back and forth here and there. Other than that, that's probably about it as far as that's going to go. So, there's my diet and Mawma video. She was a good influence. She did help me a whole lot. Yeah, she controlled me a great deal, but that also was part of the terms and conditions to the relationship that I agreed to have with her. And when she adopted me, it was, I'm not going to say enforced, because it was already enforced before I asked her, but it became more intensified with everything, and I held to it. And that was, like I said, part of the agreement for her to adopt me, is that I would obey her, and she would really basically control me, and for the good. If she was going to re-raise me as she did, those were the terms and conditions. And now that I'm gonna probably try to get back into my videos again. I'll be talking more about it, because after our reunion in July, I'm going to start writing my autobiography again, because for the last several months, since last year in April, I've just been concentrating on the family reunion and the projects I'm doing for it. So I said, when I get back from the reunion in July, I'm gonna, after a few days winding down, I'm gonna start my autobiography, and again, continue with it, and all of that I talk about will be inside my story here and there. That's it for now. Peace out.